Previously on Brian the Blue Game Reviews, BTB reviewed Tails Adventure and had a reasonably enjoyable experience. Afterwards, and not knowing that the Sonic crew went on any more adventures, someone mysteriously left Brian the Dreamcast classic, Sonic Adventure, which is where we find ourselves on the next episode.
Since last time? What am I doing with my life? Jeez. Sonic Adventure for the Sega Dreamcast.
I wonder what happened to Sonic.
It's the mid to late 90s. Sega isn't doing so well in the console market. Their Saturn was dwindling sales, lagging behind the N64 and the PS1. Some reasons for this may be because of its terrible surprise introduction, its complex design which made it hard for third parties to develop for it, and perhaps having their mascot not have a flagship game on the system may have done a number on it. Sonic was primarily absent during the Saturn's lifespan, having his proposed game canned and only appearing in a spin-off, a collection, and a piss-poor port. But things were about to change for Sega, as they announced in 1998 that the already released Sega Dreamcast was coming to the States along with a new Sonic game. And with leaked screenshots and much hype later, the Blue Blur made the jump into 3D with Sonic Adventure.
This game was released on September 9th, 1999, an important date to history to show that Sega could still make an impact, and it delivered, getting positively received from all the critics there were at the time. Speaking of the time, I was 7 months old when this came out, and as I aged like fine wine, this game aged like early CGI. Depending on the movie, it could have been done well, but most early CGI was bad. My point is, I have mixed feelings about the game. Some things in here I do like, but other things make me just want to barf all over the floor. But I'll be as fair as I can be with this, because I'll get crapped on otherwise if I don't. Thanks to the mystery rando that gave me this, because now we can take a better look at Sonic Adventure.
Starting things a bit differently, this FMV is getting us pumped with what we're about to get into. A city in peril, faster than life visuals, sick theme to boot. I'm somewhat ready for the adventure.
I say somewhat, you'll see why in a moment.
Passing by making a new save file, we go straight into adventure mode to find Sonic and a few other characters that we can play as. We'll go with the Blue Blur for now, as he's the only one we can pick for the time being. Now picture this. You just got the Dreamcast, presumably with this game along with it. You get straight into it, and then you see this.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
Oh my god, it's Sonic's voice.
Jesus! So I'll come back to this point in a bit, but to put this in short, there's a mysterious creature afoot. The cops can't take it down, so Sonic thinks it would be fun to take it on, which is what we do to start off with. Think of it as your tutorial level. The thing isn't hard to take down, just move with the C-pad and jump and attack when you see an opening for an easy win over the blue goo guy. He retreats to the nearest sewer grate as we watch on, and best bet not really hear what Dr. Robotnik had to say here. But it's whatevs, I suppose. Sonic doesn't seem to care, cause now he's just relaxing near the beach, even though a dip could make him die in an instant. But when he sees his pal Tails going down in a heap, he starts giving two shits again, and it's on display for all to see. And just like that, Tails has gone down. Maybe dead. We'll soon find out in the first level. Now that we're here, it'd be a good idea to talk about some things. The graphics are fine for what they are. It gets a pass visually, being one of the first games to be developed for the Dreamcast. What it doesn't get a pass on are the cutscenes. Holy crap, do those look bad. The way the characters try to mimic what they're saying is dreadful. It barely even matches the dialogue at all. The voice acting is decent, and granted the shoddy movements have their moments, but Christ, couldn't they do a Mario 64 and not do mouth movements? It's how Peach got by. Or why not do an MGS and have little movements and then gyrations when no moving occurs? It'd be infinitely more better than whatever the hell this is. Getting a bit ahead of myself. The first level, very iconic start. The controls are doing okay, I'm able to go fast and enjoy the sights. There is the odd occasion where I run into walls because I'm going too fast or some other things happen, but it's only the start, so we'll see if it pans out. I found Tails with 239 rings to spare with a C rank. What? So Tails explains that he was testing out a new power supply that involves a Chaos Emerald. He also wants to show us something in his workshop. So with a twitch, we watch Tails go off screen and now we head off. The hub areas, by the way, are neat. You have a few you can explore around in, find levels, solve puzzles, talk to NPCs, even find other characters like... At the Mystic Ruins, we are encountered by what Sonic comically says,
The giant talking egg.
This is actually the first time Robotnik is referred to as Eggman in the West. He doesn't take kindly to it either, as we engage in a boss fight for the Chaos Emerald, which wasn't very hard. Like at all. But he still gets it in the end because Tails is a bit clumsy. It's then revealed that Robotnik is after the emeralds to feed the blue goo we encountered the other night, as the emeralds make him stronger and more powerful. With that in mind, as the duo disappear, it is up to us to retrieve the remaining emeralds before Eggman does. And so goes Sonic's adventure. Oh, puns, I have them somewhere. I have,
Adventure! Now I'm just gonna take a moment here to tell you that we're gonna do some summarizing here. This is basically the gotta go fast portion of the vid, as talking through the whole story would drag on, so hold on to your butts. It's gonna be a ride.
So as I've said before, Sonic controls okay, his running levels are mostly fun to run around in high speeds, but there are times when I got super pissed off, primarily because of the camera. You don't have any real control over the camera unless you want to go into a first-person view with the D-pad to look around, so sometimes you'll find yourself not being able to see a lot and will most likely die. Then there's another odd occasion where some things just don't work as intended and cause me to go back to where I was, which was total BS, especially when I was at the final boss of this story. I had Eggman beat and I went past the motherfucker and it pissed me off. I eventually beat him though, after many tries. Speaking of boss fights, I will say most are way too easy. It may take you a while to figure a few of them out, but a good majority of them are super easy. Like you can beat Knuckles in literally 10 seconds. If you didn't block me the first time, it could have been 5. My point here being is there isn't even any challenge where it should be. This needed to be worked out more along with the god-awful cutscenes.
You know what else had to be worked on? Sonic snapping neck.
There are more than regular running levels for you to try out. There's a few gimmick types like the flying and the stupid fucking boarding stages. The flying is weird as I can barely aim with a cursor that doesn't really shoot where you're aiming. The boarding is just utter crap. I can barely control Sonic and it's just terrible. That's all you need to know. Hope to God you get off there soon so you can run like hell. Get away. Trust me, you'll want to escape from the boarding. Don't get me started on the pinball stage. I love it. In your spare time, you can explore the hub areas and find plenty of things to do. You may even find the occasional power-up to better help you out on your travels. If you're ever in need of guidance of where you need to go, this red floating orb can guide you vaguely or directly. Just depends on her mood. Story-wise, we do retrieve the rest of the Chaos Emeralds, only for them to fall into Robotnik's hands in some way. Ignorant Knuckles. To make Chaos grow stronger. Not strong enough to beat us, but definitely bigger. People have kinks for that kind of thing. We eventually fight Chaos on the big Battlestar egg carrier, then we go to Eggman's alternate base where most of my frustrations I said earlier were met. Seriously, to hell with this stage. But once Eggman is totally defeated, we run around, strike a pose, and the credits roll.
And that's how you play. No, it isn't. As much as I hate to admit it, he's right.
Lest we forget, we now have more characters other than Sonic having a story all their own. For the sake of simplicity, we'll go in order and pick Tails.
Here I come, Sonic!
Why does he sound 5 when he is 9? Foxes don't even live that long. We pick up where he did almost die as he was testing out his new chaos power on his plane, which malfunctions and causes him to do some real sharp turns before crashing. How do you figure that one out? Sonic comes to our aid as we come to, and we get the same stuff happening, but with alternate dialogue. That's one thing you'll notice when playing the other stories. They made the weird choice of adding different dialogue to the same cutscenes, which is fine and keeps things not boring, but maybe they could have saved time and put more into making them not look weird when they're talking. Tails' story is pretty much the same as Sonic's, like verbatim. You'll be going to the same areas, doing the same exact levels, the only difference being is you're trying to race Sonic to the Emeralds. I like the idea of racing Sonic. In fact, it's genius, but it doesn't work everywhere like here. Goddamn porting sections. One difference in the story is near the end where you have to stop a nuke from detonating in the city caused by Eggman. This also kind of screws the plot up because Sonic was fighting him by this point, but who honestly cares now about the plot in a Sonic game? We race Eggman to the nuke, wasn't a fun task, and then we had to fight him, which also led to an entertaining glitch. After the first attack, Robotnik stopped moving completely like he just shot off. Fiddling around, I pressed X of all things and he started walking towards me, like I was controlling him now. I'm not sure what caused this, if I ran into some accidental debug mode. I've actually been seeing a lot of glitches. Would love to go over them all, but we'd be here all day. But anyway, I committed the suicidal, defeated him proper, disarmed the missile, and saved the day. As Tails, the gay lover of Sonic, all grown up. When you see this, you be thinking it too. Don't lie to this guy. Knuckles before the meme is next, and his story serves a good purpose. Knuckles is protecting the Master Emerald as he does, pondering why, but then it explodes to reveal Chaos in its place. Knuckles tries to fight it, but it flees, and he's nonchalant about it, though his dialogue says otherwise. The destruction of the Master Emerald causes Angel Island to fall, and we must find the pieces to restore its place in the sky. This is basically the treasure hunting section. We have 3 emerald pieces to find in each level. When we get close to one of them shall ping and change tone and color when you get closer. They can be anywhere and it may get frustrating, so be sure you look and dig where you can. Did I mention you can dig? That's a power up you'll definitely need. One of the things I'm starting to notice is a bit of level repetition. The areas in each level are mostly the same layout, but it's fine because the game style keeps changing that you barely see it. And by chance you ever get lost finding the emerald pieces, the floating orb can guide you. Speaking of which, the orb on occasion will take you back to a point in time in a period where an Echidna clan had the power of the emeralds in their hands, and the chief's daughter is trying to maintain peace. You'll be seeing these snippets throughout all the character stories, only mentioning this now because Knuckles is an Echidna. So yeah, we eventually find all of the pieces of the emeralds, fight Chaos a few times in Sonic's place, restore Angel Island, click our mouth several times in Uganda, and roll credits with one of the best / dorkiest songs to accompany it.
Here I come, rougher than Knuckles, the best of them, tougher than Knuckles. You can call me Knuckles, unlike Knuckles, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my knuckles.
Okay, so now we have Amy, who seemed to have retired from her venturing days but misses them dearly. Her luck begins to turn as she sees the egg carrier fly by and a little birdie literally runs into her. She takes it in as it is being pursued by an Eggman Roboto, and now we must flee for our lives. This story begins about halfway into Sonic's as we run into him off the bat. To flee the robot, we run into a couple's park, which we will be doing throughout the story. Not running into romantic parks, fleeing the robot. That'd be a genre switch altogether. The robot will be in hot pursuit throughout the levels, and you just have to run to a safety balloon at the end of the level to escape. The problem I have with this is you go slow. The complete opposite of what this game is all about. Like I've said years ago in 3D Blast,
Sonic games are supposed to be about speed. You go fast.
but we are slowed down to about walking pace, which is a turnoff. I understand you have to change the pace somewhat, but come on, keep it fast. That's your bread and butter. I guess it doesn't really help that she carries a big mallet somewhere up her skirt. That's gotta weigh a girl down. One thing that's really getting on my nerves is that even though I do somewhat good with levels, the best I can ever get is a C. I looked up to see what I was missing, and it turns out the C isn't a rank. It's the type of mission you've completed. There are 3 types of missions, A, B, and C. If you want to complete the higher and tougher level letter missions, replaying is a must, but I consider that a tall order. It's already difficult trying to complete the levels without glitching everywhere, so let's get through this as fast as possible. It turns out the birdie was somehow carrying a Chaos Emerald, which Eggman eventually gets a hold of. Then upon closer inspection, we find the emblem the birdie is wearing reveals his family, which we find back on Eggman's destroyed carrier. Before reuniting, we have one last encounter with Robot Zero, which we defeat after a few bullcrap attempts. Then we watch the birdie family fly off into freedom as Amy gleefully watches as her adventure comes to a close.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but I must expose you to one of, in fact, the worst thing in this game. I'll give you a time to skip if you want to save yourself the pain, but it's time to go over the story of Big, the stupid retarded cat.
We find him sleeping at his flat somewhere in the woods. His pet frog Froggy, because his brain is so minuscule to be creative, finds a part of Chaos which he eats and makes him grow a tail. He then eats a Chaos Emerald Big just so happens to have and hops away. And we must give chase because to hell with us, right?
Froggy, there you are.
Oh my god, they did one thing right. They didn't make him look more stupid to move his mouth. Best decision they could have made for him. So if you thought we were going to do some sort of slow motion chase because Big's fat, nope. Instead we go fishing for the frog. I wish I was joking. This is by far the stupidest gameplay inclusion to any Sonic game, and I've played other questionable ones. All we do is hope to God we find the damn frog, get him to take a bite, and reel him in without breaking the line. And if it or any other fish does, that's it. Life lost. Restart. Why? Why is he so retarded to not just go in and grab the toad from the water? Somebody green-lit having a fishing game in Sonic Adventure. I hope you realize this. Someone thought that this was a good idea and everyone else agreed. How? The worst part is you have to do this same crap more than once, and in short, this doesn't need to be here at all. The only reason it's part of the story is because of the stupid tail and additional Chaos Emerald, which could have easily been explained way better to not have them in here. By far the most useless story. But nonetheless, Chaos gets his tail back and we have to fish for the frog in Chaos in an actual boss fight that lasts just about several seconds. I fucking hate this stupid shit. Get me out of here. And to the credits. I'm done with this. Now it's time for the last and the most interesting story that involves E102 Gamma. Created by Eggman as one of his elite robotos, he puts us through numerous tasks to prove our worth among our other brethren. We do prove to be worthy after finding Big's frog, which was a thing that happened in his story, but you really didn't need to know that. And we are chosen for another task to get a bird from a cell, but before that we accidentally find our Robros being dismantled or something. Which has us questioning ourselves, I suppose. Then upon trying to get the bird, Amy somehow convinces us to let them go. I'm going through this bit by bit because it goes through everyone else's plot points that I could have explained earlier, but saved for Gamma because his story is more intriguing. So are his levels too. Instead of counting up, the timer counts down and we must destroy all foes that get in our way for additional time. I like that idea. and he's fast, so it's a good balance of things. Thumbs up from over here. Anyway, upon fighting Sonic, Amy convinces him to not destroy Mr. Robot, for it saved her, and we all escape from the egg carrier before it goes down. Afterwards, we ponder about our past experiences and decide we will no longer listen to Bad Guy Robotnik, and we go on a quest to rescue our friends. Such an original plot, a robot coming to his senses. And by rescue, I mean homicide. We battle each of the elite robots after going through a section of now repetitive level. Almost actually died trying to find one. A last second hit made the save. Quick question, I don't know jack about Sonic lore, but how does Robotnik control the animals in his robots? Or are they like a source of power and they just keep the motors going somehow? I mean, when you kill them or any other foe, an animal will come out of it, so I don't know how he does it, but give Eggman the Edison Award for invention, because those two are both equally scum. After rescuing the last of our friends, Beta, we realize the last one we must destroy is ourselves. And with a familiar bird looking on, we explode and fly to the embrace of the bird as the credits roll for the 6th and final time.
Liar! Can I just fool them for a little bit in peace? God damn it.
But yes, after all that, Chaos has not fallen for good. In fact, he becomes his true form and goes on a rampage, leaving destruction in his wake. All is at a loss for what to do, but the orb that was showing us the past this whole time comes to us now, to lend a hand. It's revealed the orb is the chief's daughter Tikal, and she tells us in order to defeat perfect chaos, we must use the power of good against the power of evil, in order to restore peace. And with that power and the help of all our friends, plus what's left of the Chaos Emeralds, we become Super Sonic and take down Chaos one last time, with the best theme track of all the game by our side.
Alright, I'm so hyped. The final boss is mine. Let's do this!
No!
Is this bullshit ever gonna end?
Seriously, I died so many times trying to take out Chaos. I don't know what I did wrong, but most of the time I lost being supersonic and plummeted into the water that I could still run on. I imagine I lost speed, which caused this, but that's such utter crap. I lost so many lives to that and other bullshit, but I eventually clutched it out and took the asshole down. With that, Chaos is calmed and all goes back to normal. Apart from the city. That's gonna take a while to get back together. Sonic runs off looking for his next adventure, and the final credits roll soon after that. And that is how you play. My god, this gave me so many mixed emotions while I was playing, which is what you want to look for in a game, but my whole experience, I can say looking back, was just I had the perfect blend of frustration with this. It was fun to play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Gamma, but with Amy and Big, it gave me a rather big headache. I applaud all the devs that put in all the effort, but if I ever find the person who brought Big to life, I'm gonna send you to the morgue, I swear to God. Why was it ever a thing? It was Sonic Adventure, not Sonic and Friends plus a stupid cat. The music was composed by these fine names, and oh my god, I am in love with this soundtrack. I swear, no matter how average or straight up terrible a Sonic game can be, the music is always a standout. I can pick a number of tracks that I would listen to outside of playing the game. As a matter of fact, let's listen to a few. It's just so well made, but there is also a fault in how they are implemented. For whatever reason, they make strange cuts between cutscenes or going to different areas even if they are the same, or don't really need to. Plus, they seem to be a bit too loud over the dialogue. Either way, it's still good, and my favorite track without a doubt is the main theme itself. This was Crush 40's debut single for the franchise, and they could not start off stronger even if they tried. This encapsulates the whole game into one song in a perfect way, and it's sure damn catchy. I've learned how to sing this like the back of my hand. Thunder, rain and lightning, danger, water rising, clamor, sirens wailing. It's such a bad sign. If this video ever gets 100,000 likes, I will release my cover of this song. And that's a promise I know I can keep cause that goal will never be reached. But I do love me some Crush 40 tunes. The band of Sonic could only get better as time went on. I recommend listening to their best hits when you have the chance. You won't be disappointed. Just open your heart and you will say, yeah. Oh man, after this whole adventure, I wouldn't blame you for being done by this point. But on the slight chance that you come back, there are still some things to do. In the actual game, of course, you can go for those level B and A missions to test your skill, but there are also a few mini games you can find scattered across the hub areas. Hell, I found a few accidentally, including the Chow Garden. This is a safe place to release all your animals you've collected, plus play with the new animal characters in the series Chow. Not only that, but you can take care of one of your own by using the VMU. You remember Tamagotchi? That was a thing in those days. Speaking of the VMU, you'll be able to see several images while the game is on, including your Chow reacting to what's going on, which makes good company along with the noises the Dreamcast makes. Even it knows it's a struggle getting through this game. Outside of the core game, there's a few things to mess around in, like time trials to test your speedrunning skills, a few options to toggle with like sound output or test, and believe it or not, we can also connect to the internet with this game, the old-fashioned way.
Being born in 1999, I remember that sound well.
I actually can't connect to anything since I don't have a wire or outlet to even try, so I just sat here and zoomed in on Sonic's face because that's a thing. I bet a lot of people did that back then because you couldn't get good internet all the time. It'd be better to make more saves in your VMUs to pass the time. Sonic Adventure proved to be a surefire hit for Sega and the Dreamcast, becoming its bestseller with over 2.5 million copies sold. This would result in a sequel 2 years later, but the success of transitioning to 3D wasn't enough to keep Sega in the console market, and Sega announced the Dreamcast being discontinued in 2001. It didn't stop them from still developing games. In fact, both adventure games would be ported to old-time rival Nintendo's GameCube, which was mind-blowing for the time, not only because of what it represented, but because the director's cut, even though it had a bit of better graphics, they still couldn't fix the cutscenes amongst its other problems. It also got re-released for Windows, Xbox 360, and the PS3, each receiving worse critical reception than the original, adding to my theory that this game hasn't aged well since it was new. The legacy of Sonic's 3D ventures has been indeed a mixed bag, where it can be somewhat good one year and then really bad the next. He also has his fair share of spin-offs, plus he's going back to his roots with Sonic Mania, where in my opinion, he's better off being after all he's been through.
So, what is my rate to play?
Being the very first true 3D Sonic game, there was a lot to be excited for, but as time has gone on and the character has evolved for better or for worse, it's tough to look back on this game in a very positive light. It is still a fun game, don't get me wrong. I still had a pleasant experience, but just the weird and odd things that happened throughout just killed it for me. The term doesn't age well may not be a good term, but I think it does fit here. Graphics are fine, story is all around okay, but the cutscenes, glitches, and real crappy controls at times just stops the momentum dead in its tracks. And comparing this to other and more better 3D offerings, it just shows how poorly it has aged over time. I have seen bullshit in my day, but I've never seen as much crap in what is considered a mediocre Sonic game. All around, I would say it's just average. Not the best, not the worst, can be played or skipped. It all depends how committed you are to playing the Blue Blur's games. But we all can agree on one thing. Big can just fuck right off.
To conclude, I give this game a play rate of... should play.
Are you out of your mind?
Excuse me, who are you?
I'm your next door neighbor, but that's besides the point. How can you rate that dumb of a game worse than Tails Adventure?
How did you know I was reviewing this?
Have you figured it out yet?
Did you leave me this?
More than that, I've been listening the whole time. Who's in this package? Is this the place? Yeah.
And getting to play a game as Tails before he could talk in his annoying little voice should be an interesting treat.
This guy's a reviewer. Okay. Got it.
That was an okay game. Too bad they didn't go on any more adventures after that.
Still looking at it?
Thanks to the mystery rando that gave me this, because now we can take a better look at Sonic Adventure.
Went past the motherfucker and it pissed me off. This is by far the stupidest. I fucking hate this stupid shit.
I give this game a play rate of... should play.
Are you out of your mind?
Okay. I guess I get it. Where's my package, by the way?
Oh, here it is.
That. You know, opening mail that isn't yours is illegal, right? Is there anything else I can do for you?
Now that you mention it, I'm gonna give you another chance.
Give me another chance? For what?
For you to review a favorite game of mine properly. How about you start with this?
But that's only my opinion. If you have your own thoughts, leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others could enjoy this, share it around the web. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Anyway, this has been BrianTheBlue Game Reviews, Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. Brian here saying thanks for watching my game review. You can find me elsewhere like on Co-op.com where me and my friends play through various games for you to see. We do Let's Plays and weekly shows, having fun and getting frustrated in the process. Subscribe today to see what we play next in the coming weeks. Plus, I run the Starfighters Arcade channel. I work at a retro arcade in real life, and there we cover the arcade games with regulars as well as providing tips. You can find out more about the arcade in our commercials, so check us out when you have the time. But don't forget, I have plenty of other content on this channel with original series like quick views, console reviews, AC reviews, and current calamities. From software to hardware, I provide any and all gaming reviews. Check out Jacobians further to see what I have to offer. That's all the promotion from me. Click the I to go watch either the previous or upcoming episodes of Game Reviews.
All's well that ends well.
Shut up, Tails!